This episode of Ticket Volume is brought to you by us, InvGate. Get service operations under control in no time. Get 1 free month of our software solution by going to try.invigate.com. Ticket Volume is proud to present the VP of Product for PeopleCert, a former consultant and director for SERVIEW and Maxpert GmbH. He's also served as an ambassador for the DevOps Agile Skills Association, or DASA, in Germany, as well as many other roles and experiences. Welcome to Ticket Volume, news and information for improving IT experiences. I'm your host, Matt Barron, and each week I chat with different leaders to share insights on service management, technology, and businesses, and this episode is no exception. Guten Tag, listeners. What are you looking to learn more about? Leave a comment, connect with us, or share our podcast with someone. The algorithms will reward us for your interactions. Now, let's begin. Welcome, Markus Bause.
Hello, welcome. Thank you that I can be here.
Yes, my pleasure. Thank you so much for being on Ticket Volume. I had the pleasure of catching your presentation at Pink, and what a tantalizing topic. ITIL, the future. Everyone wants to know what the roadmap is like. But first, I want to get to know you a little bit. How did you find or come across ITIL in your career, Markus?
Yeah, I'm working with ITIL since, 25 years now. I've started in the ITIL 2 times as trainer, as consultant. I've done implementations of ITIL in big companies, still ISO 20000 certifications. And then I've started in 2004 for working for SERVIEW as the biggest ATO or training organization for the German-speaking area. At the end, we had around about 9,000 certificates. Build up this company as mentioned directly. And in the last year, or before, I had very good connections always to the people of PeopleCert and the senior management. And we discussed a lot in the past how IT should look like, that it's relevant, that it's, and that, of course, I had an idea of how it should look like. And last autumn or last summer, the owners came to me and said, okay, Markus, you have complained enough. Now come over and make it better. So now I'm here and trying to help the community to bring ITIL the new age. Yeah.
I love it. That's fantastic. What a good story, you know? It's tough. It's tough to be a customer and then become the product owner. You've got all these biases in place, but I know that you've got this product management background, so it's not something that I'm necessarily afraid of. But man, I would totally try to change it in the way that I wanted it changed. I don't know if I could resist that urge. So I do want to talk about right away, because there's this topic, the most recent news around PeopleCert and ITIL, and I want to address it right off the bat, just because I was at your speaking engagement and someone turned to me and they were surprised about this, that there's a new recertification schema. And I think he had just missed the email is all. But the idea is that you're able to recertify after 3 years. You're able to, work towards recertifying and making sure that your training is up to date, that your thinking on ITIL is correct still. Why don't you talk about that a little bit? What is the change? How do you see it working for the community?
Yes. I think in the first step, there's a misunderstanding that the most people realize this, or the impression is that the certificates are outdated or not valid anymore. So this is not true. What we have made is we have set a renewal date on the certificate, and perhaps in the first impression it looks a little bit like, oh yeah, it's only wording, but it's the idea behind this is that to make it visible if someone is up to date with his knowledge on IT or not. And I have made, 500, 1,000 interviews with potential consultants or service management specialists in my life. And always you get these ITIL certificates from, for example, 2007 or 2017 and something like this. And you don't know what is it relevant or not. Has he done something, or have he only done an exam and then nothing with that? And now you see that for someone who says my knowledge is relevant, that I have spent time to be up to date. And when you only see how the world have changed in the last 3-4 years with COVID and so on, which impact this had on delivery models, on the adoption of service management, it's very, very important that you're getting in touch with the community, for example, reading books, making your knowledge up to date, taking new certification. And this is what you now see on the certificates. And this is the major motivation behind that.
Yeah, I think it's a really good example of how certification schemes can also support just the fact that you continue to learn and that you continue to stay invested in it. I'm totally guilty of this, right? Like my ITIL V3 certificate is from, I don't know, 2010, 2011, like a long time ago. And I am totally biased again. I have direct access to a bunch of ITIL authors and the product managers. So I'm in a totally unique situation, but you've hit the nail on the head. Are you still interested in this? Do you have the relevant experience? And sure, you studied it back then, so you've got this, you do still have this foundational aspect. I took the PMP training when I was service desk manager. I never took the certification, but you can imagine how much of that training I put into practice in my daily work as part of being part of projects that happened all the time. I was just a better partner during projects. Okay. When we spoke about this recently, Markus, we talked about the org change element of ITIL and owning this. And I saw a quote that reminded me of our conversation today. It said, no framework is perfect, but many frameworks are useful.
Yes.
And that really struck home with our conversation about how you will never have a perfect product in ITIL. It just will never apply universally to everyone. How do you address that? How do you approach that?
Yes. One framework alone will never answer all questions. And when we talk about everything what could happen in, for example, in an IT organization, or when you take a wider scope in an enterprise. So one framework alone will never be able to cover all these questions, all this scope. And so the answer about what we as PeopleCert are doing right now is that we have a lot of frameworks in our portfolio and looking very hard to get a combination of frameworks, which gives the organizations which they who wants to adopt these frameworks to show how could I make the orchestration of them so that I can get the perfect flow of work in my established from demand to value creation. Doesn't matter what business I'm looking for. And for example, when you see for service operations and all the stuff that's around this, ITIL is the best framework we can get. We have to tailor it. This is another point which is very important. Book knowledge is not a quality issue for the real implementation. So the people who are doing the certifications have to get the knowledge how to tailor it. But for example, you have the other area with with DevOps and so on. And this is something what perhaps the one or the other have seen in the last days that we have announced that we have acquired a DevOps Institute, the market leader of DevOps certifications. And the goal is to have not two single the certifications which have nothing to do with each other in the portfolio. So to say, how do they came together? What are the interfaces? How can you establish the perfect flow from dev to ops, DevOps, DevSecOps, and so on? And perhaps when you take a look at the real world career of IT specialists, when I see what I have done in the past, it's not only IT. It's project management, it's service management. We have some kind of agile methods like now Scrum, which we also have in the portfolio. So what we are working right now is to show also learning paths, exactly what do you need. And when you ask me today, what is the basic knowledge what you should have in the IT organization? I think you should have an ITIL foundation minimum. You should have a Scrum Master minimum, and you should have a DevOps foundation minimum. That you understand how an IT organization overall is working and what are the different areas are doing. And this is what we are aiming for. This is what PeopleCert is standing for, not only ITIL.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the goal of many organizations as well, the technical teams. I think we all see the value in knowing those things specifically, how to operate, how to build, and how to keep it all secure. Is like that's basically IT in a nutshell.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and whether your whole team is certified or whether you've just got subject matter experts, it all depends on what you need and the size of your organization. But man, I will tell you that having those individuals on your team, what a huge asset it is to an organization. Not only to just have them for reference when you're making decisions, when you're speaking of strategy, but also to mentor and grow other people in the organization and help them understand how these frameworks, how this training can actually further your career and grow your career. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the details of the product. Some changes that have come recently is I think you've announced recently that now you have the ITIL Master ready as well as the Managing Professional ready. Is that correct?
Yeah, this is correct. Perhaps we have to take a little bit of the perspective in which situation the ITIL framework is right now. We have acquired, PeopleCert has acquired nearly 1.5 years ago or 2 years ago the framework, and ITIL 4 was launched in 2019. So, and Excelos, the owner before, has done some decisions. It's always easy and afterwards to say this decision was wrong, but there was some decisions which has not worked out really, or has not produced the value what they have expected.
Yeah.
One decision was to take out the ITIL practices out of the core books. So we have these core books, which is right now the ITIL Foundation, great deal of support and so on.
Uh-huh.
And in the past, in the old versions, the descriptions of the practices of the former versions of the processes was part of the core books, and the qualifications follows the books.
Uh-huh.
So Excelos have decided to take out these practice guides out of the core books, with the reason that's easier to maintain, easier to in shorter frequencies to keep it up to date. Which is correct, because it's very, very complicated to update a published book. And but as they have built up the qualification scheme, they have focused the content of the qualifications to the books. And in the books, these practice guides was not any longer there, because it was separated. And so the people are going to the qualifications, going to the trainings, making the exams, and said, oh, there are no description of how do I build up an incident management, how do I handle changes, how do I handle reaches or requests or something like this. And because a lot of people are not reading the books, only attending trainings, it came up the perception of the market, ITIL is not practice relevant anymore. And this is a major misunderstanding, because the stuff is already there. When you see we have 34 practice guides, every practice guide has something between 30 and 50 pages. It's more content as in the core books. And as PeopleCert take it over, and of course we take a look, okay, in which situation we are right now. We have talked a lot in the market to experts, customers, and get the feedback, this is not any longer there, we have to use ITIL 3. And we always said, well, why? It's there. And then we realized, okay, this came out of this situation, and that's the reason why we now introduce or have enlarged the qualification scheme to a third pillar, with practice which are related to practice guides. These are 3 bundles of trainings, 15 practice trainings, which addressing the most demanded practices. Overall, there are 34, but we have taken the 15 most demanded of it. And so you can have now the possibility to do single day trainings when you are especially interested in a single practice, or taking a bundle of practices, 5 of them, which are normally connecting together. So the first one is the typical operational value chain with incident management, problem chain, not change, is a problem, request fulfillment, monitoring. So what you need in your day-to-day operations area. And we have put in together with that a new designation, the practice manager designation. And you get this designation when you have done only five, not 15, only 5 practices. So 5 single, or you do 1 bundle, plus the create, deliver, and support qualification, which was already there, because there you learn the value stream model, and the value stream model helps you how to get all the practices together. So we said, and someone is the practice manager, he should know the minimum 5 practices in detail, plus how do I can set it up so that we get a really flow of work through all these practices. And then you are a practice manager. And so, of course, we hope that we can reintroduce that this value in IT is already there, that you can really easily use it.
Yes, excellent. So we'll try to share the slides that you used at Pink, because I think they do a great job of kind of visualizing the framework and the different certification schema. I really like how many times you have said during this conversation that you're listening to people, which kind of leads me to the future conversation. Where is ITIL going? And I have to admit that I sneaked a peek at your slides before you edited them for Pink. So I actually saw all of your promises that you made in your slides. And what I really like is the last one. The last slide says specifically, closer cooperation with our new offering and consulting partners, closer cooperation with our new offerings for businesses using ITIL, and closer cooperation with new offerings for professionals using ITIL. And you and I both know that that's how we circle around in the product lifecycle. Go back to the community, see how it's working, see how it's serving, use that to improve and grow from there. Where do you see ITIL going in the future, either near term or long term?
Yes. This is part of my job right now, traveling through the world and talking about this stuff, but not only talking, hearing a lot. And last week I have spent 1 week in Australia, was there on the ITSM event, and taking their points of view, meeting corporates, not only IT trainers, meeting corporates who say, we are using IT, what do we need, how that is working. We are working very hardly. This will come this year also, the program of getting the true values back in the IT world. So this is the other area which is very important. We are working on a quality seal for consulting companies, so that you have the chance. There are lots of bad consultants out there doing an IT foundation and say, I can do your IT transformation. So that there's a quality seal for consulting companies where they can show, okay, we invest in our people, we invest in knowledge and in experience. We are also investing in a corporate engagement program. We are working hardly on an ambassador program. So we already have a lot of people who are working for us in the community. We have a database of over 500 SLEs which are working for us. But this is something I want to make it more intensive. So that we get an ambassador program where you can come in and participate and give us your feedback. We are not sitting in, myself understanding is not sitting here in Germany, in Frankfurt, in my office and thinking, okay, I'm the wisest man in the world and cannot decide how it looks like next year. So my understanding is when I'm in the room and I'm the most stupid guy in the room, and everybody around me is more intelligent, then I get the inputs what I need. And this is exactly what we are doing right now. To answer your question, what is next? You do not have to expect that we get an ITIL, new ITIL version in the next 1 or 2 years. So we have ITIL 4. ITIL 4 is delivering what we need right now. We are working on together with the practice guides courses. All practice guides are completely renewed and reworked. So this is new. We are thinking about. This is only an idea right now. We're thinking about role-based codifications. So this could be also a direction which is coming. And we are working on a lot of research right now. I'm establishing our own research department in PeopleCert, research department, which are that works together with the community to get the inputs how ITIL should look like in the next 5 years, perhaps.
Awesome. All good stuff. We won't hold you to it. We know that those are some of those are ideas. We won't expect to see them. And thank you for promising that there won't be a new ITIL in the next couple of years.
No.
I think it's good for people to know. What a great opportunity. I love the idea of role-based training. Man, what a great way to take skills and frameworks and put them together.
Yes.
That is such a great idea. I really hope that we see that come to fruition. How, if someone comes up to you and they're super passionate about ITIL, Markus, how can they get involved? How can they send feedback and get involved today?
Yes. So the first step, you can find me. So you can find me in LinkedIn. You can find my email address is markus.bause@peoplecert.org. It's not a secret. So if you want to participate, you can send it to me, and I put it in the right channels. I know that in the past, let me say the IG owners was not so open in communication. I don't want to blame what's happened in the past, but I had it. My impressions self that sometimes talking to the IG owners was like putting information in a black hole. So and this have to change. We are working very hardly with our marketing department to build up this ambassador program that we get a really structure for that. But like today, I had a lot of people coming to me on the events and saying, "Hey, I have a deal, and can I put this in?" And that's all. Or we are also working on a licensing program when someone wants to put additional content on top of ITIL that we have there really base where we can work together. So contact our customer service, contact me directly or my colleagues, and we will put this in the right places. And in the next months, let me say, we are working very hard to build up these more structured channels where we can work together. But this is the absolute goal. ITIL must be out of the community for the community, because when we are doing it by our own with 5 people in a room, then it's not best practice, and this is not our goal.
Well said. Very well said, Markus. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here today. Thank you for owning ITIL and taking it to the next level. And thanks for your time on Ticket Volume.
Great. It was an honor to be here. You have so many very, very important people in your podcast, and to have the chance to talk to you and your podcast, it's really an honor. Thank you very much. And let us talk again, perhaps in a year, then we see what's used then.
Yes, sounds good. That sounds great. Thank you so much for the kind words, and thank you for listening to the podcast when you can. And to our audience, thanks for listening to this episode. We've got a bunch more out there and more coming, so make sure to subscribe to receive an alert every time there's a new one. You can also submit specific topics or qualms or queries that you've got by DMing me, leaving a comment on one of our streams somewhere. And speaking of that, if you did like today's podcast, consider commenting or liking or leaving some feedback. You know that all of the AI chatbots in the world will love us more if you interact with our stuff. This podcast is brought to you by InvGate, the all-in-one IT service and asset management solution that helps organizations with world-class IT support. If you're looking for a solution to build your help desk without the headaches of year-long implementations and high overhead, you're going to love InvGate. In fact, IT teams from NASA, Toyota, and McDonald's use InvGate to manage requests, automate workflows, and centralize inventory data so that they can focus on delivering better service. Because remember, good service is good business.